how to turn your no's into yeses. If you are building anything of note, whatever it is, it can be a business, it can be you're trying to sell something, there's a tendency, it's not always 100%, and there are different degrees of it, but there's always a tendency that you might have one or two no's before you get a yes, that you might get some rejection. And you have to have the skill to be able to wade through this particular unsavory experience before you get to what you are looking for. You understand? And usually the reason why this happens is because there's a gap of knowledge and skill between what is required for us to be able to achieve what you are looking for and where we are skill-wise. So for example, you want to sell shortlet, there's a skill on how to sell shortlet and sell it effectively. That's why people are selling it. Now, whether or not you have that skill is another kettle of fish altogether. We differ depending on where we are coming from, and we have different varied levels of skill with regards to that particular topic. Now, how to sell shortlet might be different from how to sell real estate, might be different from how to sell, let's say, services, might be different from how to sell goods. But somebody that has been in sales before might have it easier to sell shortlets than somebody who has never been in sales before. Are you getting my point? So that knows is usually as a result of a difference in skill. There's something that the client is looking for, there's something that you have to offer. If there's a difference, the client will most likely give you a no. So now, how do you turn that no into a yes? Now, the first thing is that for us to have a change of orientation, you have to see no's as feedback, not as a verdict on who you are, on your product, or what you are trying to do, or your enterprise as a whole. If you see your no's as feedback, it will be easy for you to be able to push through and get your yes. There's always a yes behind every no. Now, I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker because I'm going to talk about them in this video. Now, concerning this thing, there are two extremes. There's the first extreme where when something happens, you just feel like, okay, there's a reason why, maybe I'm bad, I'm not good at this thing, and maybe you just look for an excuse. My product is not good, that's why, of course, why would they say no and stuff like that? My product is not good, I am not good, this is not just my thing and stuff like that, and then you quit. That is the first extreme. And to address that, I just tell you that for people to come to you and say no to you, that means that a lot of things have actually happened. For example, they've seen your stuff. That means that you've actually gotten something right. For them to see it and then have a conversation with you, especially when they start asking questions, that means there's something there. Then if they say a no, that means that you've not gotten everything. That's why I said you should see your no's as your feedback. It is not just a verdict on who you are, on your product, and everything is feedback. If for them to be able to come to you, that means that you are actually doing something right. So after you've gotten that no, you take it as feedback, and then you know what to do. That is the first part of it. When you get a no, you now start looking for reasons and giving yourself an excuse to quit. The second extreme is the motivational speakers. These people has 1 million no's, that person has 1 billion no's, and this and that, and that's another extreme. So it is not good for you to just be at that place, because you can be there and be there throughout your life. Because there has to be wisdom. You need to know when to fold, you need to know when to pivot, you need to know when to stop something. So how do you get that balance? How do you strike that balance? Now, there are two skills that you need to acquire. You get it? And the first one is called gumption or grit. That's your ability to be able to push through in the presence of negative or adverse feedback outcomes. For you to be able to push through. Some people call it gumption, some people call it liver, some people call it guts, some people call it grits, whatever it is. You get, there was a time I was trying to do I was trying to research one of my courses. So I wanted to see what is the key to entrepreneurial success. So I was doing a lot of research. I did a lot of biographies of successful entrepreneurs, and I read many of their teachings, trainings, speeches, and stuff like that. So I discovered that there was one thing that was overarching in all of them. Everybody always said, you need guts, you need grits, you need guts, you need grits. Everybody, right from Elon Musk that sells technology, all the way to Walt Disney that sells kid entertainment, everything is just grits. So I now realize that grits is actually a connecting line that everybody has. And in Christian faith, it is called patience or perseverance. And like I usually tell people, I say, look, faith does not give you the promise. It is faith with patience that gives you the promise. So that patience, the ability to stay, the staying power, you need it. And how do you develop that? The best way of developing that strength, that staying power, is having a clear picture of your outcome, of your vision, of where you are going to, of what you want to achieve. For example, you want to sell something, you want to sell real estate. And you know that if you've sold real estate, this is the amount of money you are going to get. You are going to get 2 million, you are going to get 3 million, you are going to get 500,000, 200,000. The things that 200,000 is going to do to you, the things that 5 million naira, that 10 million naira is going to do for you, and the things that you are going to buy has to be clear in your mind. That is what will keep you staying. Are you getting my point? That is what is going to keep you staying. That is going to be what will give you the ability to stay. And the way it is actually done in the Bible, it said, for the glory that was set before him, that was talking about Jesus Christ, he endured the cross and despised the shame. So your ability to be able to stay, to be able to wait in the face of adverse consequences. He endured the cross. The cross is not a good thing, but the cross was necessary for Jesus Christ to achieve the glory, but the glory was always before him. So the glory, your vision, what you are trying to achieve, those things that you are going to see, that new life that you are going to have, that is your vision. That thing must always be in your mind, always, consistently. That is what is going to give you the ability to stay. Now you might say that but I thought you said these motivational speakers that will say that grit and gumption and stuff like that, that is actually what they usually say. And I'm going to say that is why the second part of it comes into play. The second skill that you need, that you require for you to be able to convert your no's into yes, is teachability, your ability to be able to learn. In Christianity, in the Bible, it is called meekness. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. If you notice, the Bible says, blessed are the pure in heart. Pure in heart will see God. Blessed are the merciful, who obtain mercy, but blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. People that will be successful on this earth, you have to be meek. You have to be teachable. The ability to be able to change yourself, to be able to adapt, adaptability. The ability to be able to adapt to changing situations. So for example, you know that, okay, remember I told you that the reason why you are not getting a yes is because there's a difference in skills. Are you get what I'm trying to say? What is required and what you have, that is just the reason why you are getting your no's. So it is the teachability that now bridges that gap. You get it? Your gut and gumption helps you to stay through the process, but it is the teachability that is where the magic happens, because you need to grow. While you are waiting, you need to be changing, you need to be different, you need to be better consistently as you are going in your journey of converting your yes. The moment you have what the market is looking for, the market is not against you. There's no spiritual force, there's no devil that is against you. The moment you have what the market is looking for, they will start giving you yeses. So those are the two things that you need. You need your ability, staying power, and you need teachability, patience, and meekness. Those are the two key that you need to convert those to your yeses. And the funny thing is that if you have your no's, depending on the number of and the intensity of your no's, once you start getting your yes is going to be phenomenal. For example, if you get 10 no's in the process of learning and trying to achieve your goal, when you get your yes, when you're going to be getting your yes, you can get like 50 yeses after your first yes. So that is how it works. It usually pays out. The Bible says something. It says, eat honey, which is good to your taste. It says, for there is an end, and the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. What is honey in the Bible? In that sense, it connotes wisdom. It says, eat honey, which is good to your taste, so shall the knowledge of wisdom be. There's an end, and the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. Wisdom is this ability. What you are lacking. The wisdom is that skill difference. Once you acquire that skill, there's always an end. So when you are waiting, when you are patient and everything, you know that there's an end to your patience. It's not just perpetually. And you get what I'm trying to say? And what is going to bridge that gap is your teachability, your meekness, your adaptability. Learning something and then making the necessary adjustment, making the necessary until you achieve what you are looking for. So that is it. Two things that you need to convert your no's to your yes. First of all, you need grit, gumption, or patience, the ability to stay in power. And how do you get that? You get that by having a clear picture of a vision of what you are trying to achieve. An example of when you have the money, what are the things that you're going to do with the money? That is what is going to keep you going. That's what's going to keep you pushing. And the second thing is teachability, adaptability. Those two things should be your weapons when whatever you are doing. have those two things, those two key components, teachability and your gumption, your grit or patience. Those two things will help you go through any task that you are doing. Everything is doable, everything is possible. All you need to know is how do you learn your way out of where you are. Everything is possible, everything is doable. You just need to know how to do it. And you need grit, patience to be able to stay the course. And you need teachability, humility, or meekness for you to be able to learn your way out of it. So thank you all, and God bless you. Happy success.